Hey, what's up guys? Lightning Eagle 14 here, soaring back into everyday life with another video. And in this video we're going to be reviving an old project, basically redoing the video that I did for it because I reviewed it and I really wasn't satisfied with it. The project was awesome, but the video was not. So anyways, in this video we are going to be talking about how to build and how to use StrawDarts, which are a homemade invention of mine. They are a shotgun type throwing weapon that can be thrown in bunches of up to say 40 projectiles at once. They have a range of around 35 to 40 feet. So without further ado, let's do a firing demo. Alright, starting off with 20 or so thrown at once. Moving on to another 20. Here we go. And we'll do another 20 or so just for good measure. And now we'll show it in slow motion. 1, 2. So now we're going to be talking a little bit about the pros and cons of this ammo type and a little bit more about what they are. So StrawDarts, now that I've got your attention through the firing demos, are actually very simple to make. They are really just straws with the erasers duct taped onto the front, more or less. And because of the materials that they're used, their overall cost is very, very cheap. It's about, you can make about 200 StrawDarts for about say $10 or so, depending on where you get your pencils for the erasers from. And other advantages being the ability to throw many projectiles at once. I can't think of a single other shotgun that you can use in Nerf that has the ability to shoot 40 projectiles at one time at the distances that this thing is capable, that these are capable of reaching. So yeah, that's pretty much all the advantages. The cost and the ability to throw many at once, and they're also a whole lot of fun. But anyway, so the disadvantages, main one being the accuracy. If you're throwing only one of these at a time, your chances of hitting them are kind of low because of the fact that they're slightly inaccurate and also because they're hard to use. These are based entirely on user skill. So if I'm not very good at throwing these, then my accuracy isn't going to be very good. It's not like a gun, you can't just point, pull the trigger, and shoot. So they're a little bit more complicated than that. That's why it's recommended that you throw them as a shotgun, in which case they are much more effective. And the other disadvantage being the range. They don't go incredibly far. They still go plenty far enough to be able to be used in really any Nerf war, except something with a lot of really high-powered blasters, but they do work very well at their intended purpose. So I think that's all I need to go over for the pros and cons. Next, let's move on to a technique and how to actually use them. Alright, so the technique for these is really very simple. You usually want to grasp them by the end and then kind of throw them upwards with an angle. If you try and throw them just straight, like basically flat to the ground, parallel, then the weight of the head will actually carry it downwards. So you want to throw with an upward angle to get the maximum range, like this. So that's with an upward angle, and here's flat. You can tell that went way not as far. That didn't make sense, but anyways. And another way to throw them is to kind of grab them by the middle or near the tip and just throw them like you're throwing a dart. That works as well. But you don't get nearly as good of range as throwing them by the end with an angle. And as I mentioned before, it's completely dependent on user skill. So if you had good arms with good muscles, you could get them much farther than say 30 to 35, 40 feet, and that would give you a significant advantage. But if you're like a weak little white boy like me, you're not going to be able to get a whole lot of range out of them. But yeah, and 35 to 40 feet is about the max. So yeah, now let's move on to the tutorial. Alright, so to make these, it's very simple. All you need is some thin straws like these. You want the kind with a bend on the top and that are also kind of long and skinny like this. You also need a pair of scissors, a pair of needle nose pliers, roll of duct tape, and also some pencils to steal the erasers from. So to make these, it's very simple. All you do is remove the eraser from the pencil, and to do that you basically just grab onto the metal piece of the pencil and with your needle nose pliers yank it off. And the reason that we wanted needle nose pliers instead of normal pliers is to actually poke the eraser out of the metal piece. And to do that you just kind of poke in alternating spots around the edge. Kind of poke on one side and then the other and then another side. And it should pop right out, just like that. And you can see we have our eraser now. Next we're going to want to prepare our drinking straw. Now all you do is snip it off slightly below the bendy part, about a centimeter below that or so. And then after that, you just make a slit. There's a bumblebee. You make a slit in the straw that is slightly longer than your eraser, about 3/4 an inch or so. Should be good. And then you simply poke the eraser into the straw like so. You can see we have our inserted eraser there. And then all you need to do, is duct tape it on there. So just take some duct tape and pull off a small strip that is long enough to go around the straw once. It doesn't need to be too terribly long, but it doesn't really matter how long it is either. This isn't rocket science. About this size should work fine. And then you simply duct tape your eraser and your straw together. And that's literally all there is to it. That's all you have to do, and now you've made a fully functional straw dart. That's all there is. It's very, very simple. And now you just need to repeat this process about 200 times if you want to get as many straw darts as I have. And it's not that much work. Once you've done it several times, you kind of get a rhythm down. It becomes pretty quick. Another thing I forgot to mention is that if you have two pencils where the eraser is just kind of completely shaved down, it's been erased with so much that it doesn't poke out of the metal thing, you can use two of those. So really any size eraser will do. You just have to make it add up to the size of a normal pencil eraser. And that's it. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did think that this video was interesting or cool, please leave me a comment down below and give this video a like. Subscribe if you're new. And that's going to do it for this video. Final thing about the straw darts, you might think that they're unsafe because of the hard rubber eraser in the tip, but really they're not. You can't throw them hard enough for them to be unsafe, really, for them to cause any physical pain. It's basically the same as throwing like Boomco darts, I think that's a pretty similar comparison. But yeah, and always wear eye protection, obviously. But that's gonna do it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.